It might not be 33 burning questions, but it is probably going to be a 33-minute stream because I don't got much guests lined up today. The Mandalorian live stream, episode number 5. We return to the planet we all know and love, not Mandalore, Navarro, where our homeboy Grief Karga, the High Magistrate, don't forget to call me the High Magistrate, is back in the building, and he's going to be addressing some of these trade routes and whatnot. They are an independent system. These things mattered not to me when I became a Star Wars fan, but now I'm learning and I'm getting more and more from this world. I'm learning about inner rim, mid rim, outer rim. That would be in the circle. You guys know Coruscant is in the middle, not directly in the middle, but in the middle, kind of control of everything. Rich people, yada yada. Then like the mid rim would be the ring right around that, and it appears the New Republic after Luke saves everybody and everyone's good and there's peace. They're not able to keep even the mid rim safe. Whenever we see Carson Teva and some of those other Rangers away from the mid rim, all the way in the outer rim, it's odd. It's like, bro, what are you doing here? Go take care of home. Go fight the pirates there and everything else that's going awry there. All the harm. The outer rim were the Wild West, bro. Jabba the Hutt was able to reign free here. He was always free. All of the Hutts, they've always been fine. We learned in Book of Boba Fett even more so about the nature of these guys and how they could run. So just this episode was sort of just it brought it into the forefront, into the spotlight to me of how valid, how important these guys actually are. Hey, Mike. Let's get back to the episode. The next thing that takes place here is they are visited by this dude here. His name is Gorian Shard. We remember him from episode number 3. And Gorian Shard was someone who, to me, let me get K-Dot in the building. K-Dot's back. Welcome, K-Dot, the man who took it straight to YouTube this week, and he came out alive.
Well, YouTube was still of no help. But we're going to try and get this fixed. We're going to try and get it fixed at some point.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was just getting my headphones and my audio right. For some reason, I didn't think to do that. It's like it's my first time. Gorian Shard, cool pirate, someone that we saw in the 3rd episode. All of a sudden, now he's being used in this episode. People like Elia Kane, someone who we saw a previous episode in that boring episode. All of a sudden, she's going to be super relevant now to weaving everything together. The Mandalorians and all that, the whole group, everyone now that we've been introduced to the first half of the season, just came into a crescendo. Everything is attached to everything else. AKA the angriest salad in the galaxy. Man, you calling him the angriest salad in the galaxy? Look at him. He's not angry. He's just a boss.
I mean, he has a pretty, even though we didn't see him much in this episode saying a lot, he has a pretty cool design. Kind of reminds me of the Flying Dutchman from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I do get Flying Dutchman vibes off of him, actually. You're right. I think, it looks like he's out.
Pirates of the Caribbean a Disney film, too?
It was.
I only know that because Johnny Depp. That's why it kind of, as I wouldn't be shocked if they used the Flying Dutchman as a reference to create this practical pirate that they're doing.
What's really smooth is that the movement is natural because they're adding like vines and stuff that's practical, and like it's just a normal feeling flow. It's like when you add hair to a prosthetic. Like, you know what? I can actually use Zeb. I'm gonna fast forward to the Zeb part of the episode, and you're gonna see like as unreal as he looks when he's chilling with Zeb. Where's that part? Where's the part with Zeb? Here. As unreal as he looks and wrinkly, the hair is still hair, and just something about hair because it's dead, it's attached to our body, and we just accept it. There's just something about it that adds realism, and it's not really difficult to create when you look at people's face, their hair face.
Right.
Yeah, does Zeb not have a long enough? There.
I think it was. There were some people saying this was CGI. I don't know how much of it is CGI practical, but for the most part, it kind of does look practical, but it does look CGI. it doesn't look bad. It's kind of hard to tell what is what with this case here. Like you can tell with the pirate. That's all practical.
Yeah.
Zeb right here is kind of confusing because it's how expressive his face is, and sometimes practical you can't get like that is like super expressive, as if like there's nobody behind the suit. It's all just Zeb, like it's a real person.
Yeah,
So I
which is
think,
nice. If you're saying it looks practical, we can't tell, then you're actually complimenting it, right? You meaning it in a nice way.
oh no, I'm totally bashing it. Joking.
Let me find a slanderous thing to say against you. He looks real. He's CGI, and they accomplished it because Lucasfilm and ILM, they got it together.
I have spoken.
Thank you. I have spoken. We got Daniel.
That's why I say that the team's working on this Star Wars stuff. Lucasfilm, they need to come over here and work on these Marvel projects.
For all I know, they did Pirates of the Caribbean also.
I wouldn't be shocked because that's a very great looking movie.
Salad the Gut is more healthy than Pizza the Hut. Computer graphics and motion capture. I'll take it. If that's the way that it's going to be done to master it, and give it to me that way all the day. Anytime you do it, make sure there's motion capture. I don't care how expensive it is. I pay a lot, and others pay a lot for this show. So, and this is the only thing we really pay for, right? Do we really go to Disney Plus anymore for like the Marvel things? Secret Invasion should be cool, but I don't know.
I mean, I really don't. Look, the only thing I go to Disney Plus for is Star Wars or Marvel. Nothing else. Because, I mean, that's the only places you can really watch this stuff if you want to watch it. You could watch it for free, but sometimes you don't want to deal with all the, the ads and all that. Well, not the ads, but the pop-ups.
The pop-ups. So the episode is beautiful little planet here. It's where they are settling. I forget what it's called, but this is where the X-Wings go chill. There's a whole bunch of cameos in here. We're going to see Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow. We're going to see Rick Famuyiwa. Same three that were in that prior episode in like season 1. So, they're meaningful Rangers. Cool. Did you catch it? Right there. They're right here. This is Deborah here on the left.
Yeah.
And I just passed Dave Filoni and Rick Famuyiwa.
I mean, I didn't get because I don't really remember what Dave Filoni looks like. I
really?
I mean, I don't have a constant reminder of what he looks like in my head. I know he wears a cowboy hat a lot.
Yeah, he's right there. There's gonna be a freeze frame watch. You'll see in a second here where Dave Filoni's on the right. There we go. Boom. Filone's, Famuyiwa, and Deborah's right there when I move. There we go. There's Deborah Chow, the director of Kenobi, the director in season 1 of Mandalorian. So it looks like they're still in their good graces, and there's no beef between the Kenobi team. Not that there was any clues to it, but like there's no beef between them. She's back on set with the Mandalorian crew, and everyone is harmonized. I don't know. I guess I'm just putting something down that never existed by saying that Zeb looked great. So aside from Zeb, aside from cameos, the Rangers of the New Republic was a show that was canceled. I would imagine this was plot from that.
I'm kind of glad it was canceled. I really didn't want to see that.
Not a Cara Dune fan?
I mean, I didn't want to see because wasn't they trying to set up Cara, the Ranger, the Marshal, all those characters to be part of this Rangers of the New Republic?
Yeah, I think she was going to be the lead.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to see that.
I don't know why they didn't just change it and use another character. But
it was just giving me like Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy like spin-off vibes. Like you're gonna have this or Thunderbolts like this, this rough group of people together. They're kind of bad, they're kind of good. You don't really know. It's like and they just do they do what the good people of our universe cannot do. It felt like anti-heroes like galore. And it was if it was with some different characters, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't want to see a group of characters just going around shooting guns like that because we already got the Mandalorians, bounty hunters. Like, why do we want to see official people of the Republic going around shooting guns. Like they're not going to be as cool as something like a bounty hunter going around, doing these missions, killing people, all that.
I would have watched Rangers, but it wasn't a project I was excited about either, honestly. Yeah. That's how I feel about The Acolyte. I'll watch it, but it's not like I'm excited for it. Dave Filoni is not involved. It takes place in High Republic era. How much of that will really matter? I think only Yoda is the only character from there who we might actually see again. Or Yaddle, actually. She could be in there, too, as a surprise.
I mean, the only interest I have for The Acolyte is because it's about the Sith. So that's my interest, is only because it's literally supposed to be tied to the Sith, right? And if it is going to be, based around the Sith, I mean, that's different. We never got a deep dive into the Sith. Mm-hmm. There's really no Sith-based Star Wars show either. This is really our first time dealing with it. And I think the only other time we dealt with the Sith as like main characters was Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
How come when you turn your camera off, we hear a whole bunch of clutter, and you turn it on and everything's normal? I'm like, what just happened?
You know me, I was just moving some stuff around.
Terrence says, hello, Chillmonger. I'd stay, but I must recharge. I'm only running on 80% energy. What did Terrence think to say? Nerdman says hi. So the Adelphi unit, I guess that's the name of their squadron, and they wear that color. So those group of X-Wing fighters, the Adelphi squadron, were not allowed. They were not given permission to go all the way to the planet of Navarro, which is an independent. I get it. If you guys are going to say you're independent, yada, yada, don't go asking us for help. Don't try to get assistance with your planet, trying to have us defend you guys. But then what? Like, you're not going to pay no taxes. You're not going to be any contributor to our economy at all. I get it. Even though it does sound like it's mean, he's making, there are other systems with priority over this Navarro place. So it was the right thing to do. I don't even know what you were going for trying to beg for it. But also, look how many people were slacking in. Yeah.
So it's okay. So you would, if this pilot like went to the planet and actually, I think what this pilot should have done, he should have stuck around, right? If he was going to go rogue and do this little thing and, go warn the bounty hunters about this little thing going on here, I think he should have stuck around for the next couple episodes to try and investigate to see if Moff Gideon is still really around or if the Empire is rebuilding itself. But I mean, you would think that the Republic would already know about this and catch wind, because that's the thing about this little period, this era right now, is that they really don't care about the little remnants of the Empire that's still around as much, which is weird because they was like literally for 3 movies fighting to like not exterminate, but destroy this military force. And in order for them to convert these people, they literally manipulate their minds to take them out of that mindset. So yeah, it's just weird that they don't care enough about these remnants that are going around. I get it, Mando, they live in what the Outer Rim and stuff, and not everybody goes to the Outer Rim, but it's like this would be passed around from planet to planet, people trading stuff. Like, yeah, I went to Navarro the other day, I saw some stormtroopers flying over there with some TIE fighters, man. Yeah, I think the New Republic should get on that. It's like they don't care enough, which is weird. Like, it's just weird that they don't care enough. Or you would think they would be having people in these sectors like hunting these stormtroopers down, hunting down these remnants of them that are still popping up.
I don't get what Daniel's referencing. Tim Meadows, did he say that in the Lindsay Lohan movie? The ladies' man finally settled down? Where's that from? Is that an SNL thing? I don't know. I know Tim Meadows was in this episode, though. And Tim Meadows had a role with that brainwashed, what's her name? Elia Kane. And she...
I haven't seen that actor, the guy, the black dude. I've not seen him since Grown Ups 2. He's funny.
So when Kirsten Tebow looks at her chest and sees this sign, meaning that you used to be Empire, you've reformed, and now you're a good guy, he looks at her sideways like, nah, there's no forgiving that. Look at that look. And she's, they have yet to sign the charter. They're not a member planet. As true as what she's saying is. Well, I got a guest in the building. 1 second. Hello, Marcus.
What up? What up, Doc?
We were just at the beginning of the episode. We were talking about outer rim, mid rim. We're talking about reformed Empire citizens. So Elia Kane now that she's back, and it feels like she is completely a villain. The first episode we got to see her this season, we got to see her talking to Dr. Pershing. Is she not? And then by the ending, when she cranks it up to 100, she's bad. Every single thing I see from her talking now, she's a deceptive villain. She's a good villain who made herself, who got herself on the inside. I'm not sure why you would allow, if you're the New Republic, someone like Elia Kane, a reformed bad guy, join your ranks and use them in military operate, or have a seat, have ability to enter this room, to have conversations about what we should and shouldn't do, to be able to advise about charter member planets. And he's like, yeah, that's not good. And he looks at her exactly like an equal, as if she didn't just spend the last 40 years of her life part of the bad guys,
trying to take over the world.
Right. Rewind. What was this? 2 episodes ago, I was on with you guys, and we were talking about Favreau is not a good writer. Right.
You said that.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't say it. Somebody said it. I was defending Favreau.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Somebody said it. I think it was probably a comment. But in any case, right, this is an example of some of his chops, right? Some of his thinking of where to take the story. Because if you compare it to structurally to what the Empire looked like, there probably was a lot more, stricter filters on who got where. And there was more qualifications other than just trying to be, let's have this melting pot. Let's get everybody in here, Empire and New Republic, and make it something cohesive. There wouldn't have been so much of a focus on that. Now, there's an obvious reason for that. One of them was a more tyrannical regime than the other. But this regime is a little bit further to the opposite extreme. They're overly bringing people in, and they're allowing these fissures to exist where they can be exploited. And he's showing with that character just exactly how the New Republic ultimately will end up falling. At least that's where I think it's going.
She exists to sow chaos for the New Republic. So yeah, Fisher is with you.
That's right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying hi, DC. So go ahead.
That's why I'm glad Marcus brought it up, because I think I said this on another stream we was doing. I think Perp stream. They're trying to, and it's clear as day what they're trying to do. They're trying to fill in these blanks up until the sequel trilogy, and they're already planting the seeds.
I think so too.
I think they're trying to fill in the blanks. They're trying to fill in these 30
I think they're going to lead us back to where the sequel trilogy left off, and that's going to be the new Star Wars movie. I think.
Goodness gracious me.
Well, I think, okay, so what they're probably going to lead up to is that big battle they talked about, the Battle of Jakku, and that's going to involve Thrawn, Ezra, Ahsoka, all of them. Then they're going to skip over the sequel trilogy since that happened, then jump to...
No, but it's going to pick right back up. It's going to include the sequel trilogy.
Oh, my.
I think so.
I told you I was going to re-up on Cliffs.
Well, yeah.
If Daisy's coming back, they have to make it make sense.
Right, because Marcus saying, okay, because if they are trying to fill this in, one thing they need to try, one thing they're going to try and fix and justify is why Luke did what he did in Last Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and fill that in. And so if whenever, and it's really going to show when we get to Luke's justification, when they show young Kylo and them trying to justify why he went about it that way.
They should leave that alone. They should leave it alone. Like it's already an eyesore as it is. Yeah. People don't want more character deconstruction. I don't want more reasons as to why he went from this, this hero who was, everybody's goal to being the evil old uncle who was going to slay his nephew because he was showing a little bit too much power. Let's all collectively pretend it didn't happen and let's try to make it better. But the more they try to dig into that and explain the psychology, I think the more they're going to push people away.
Yeah.
We're wasting our time.
Exactly.
I think right, Luke. I think for us that, okay, Star Wars fans for sure, they're going to accept whatever decision they make. Because I think for people, if them just fleshing out stuff and filling stuff in is just like enough justification. Like, for example, with Clone Wars, right? Now, this is a person, I like Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
But I always still believe this. Ahsoka should have never been alive after Order 66.
You're wrong. How could you even say that?
I like her character, but she should have died at Order 66 because, like I said this prior, it is weird that unless she's been alive this long. If she was alive this long, she would have more than likely met up with Luke and went to go with him to fight Vader.
World Between Worlds. She was away during that entire movie trilogy, World Between Worlds.
No. Remember at the end of Rebels, she was like waiting in that cave or something.
That was right. I think that was right after, because remember she had longer Leku head things. The Leku, if they're called Leku, if that's the word.
Because the World Before Worlds happens before A New Hope.
Yes, and then she comes out of World Between Worlds after that. I'm saying.
I think it's like it's like around Return. I need to rewatch that last episode, but they literally fast forward to past Return of the Jedi in that finale. So she been here. That's what I'm saying. She been here, and it's just weird. It's just weird. That's like that type of character is still lingering around. All that. That's why I think any Star Wars fan would just accept, as long as they slightly flesh it out. It's like, oh, it makes much sense now. It's like
it has to be cohesive though, because I think some of those they'll take it type decisions is what's led us to where we're at now. I think it's real interesting, especially when you're talking about Mandalorian, because I feel like the last 2 episodes of Mandalorian have been really good, but then you hear all this stuff about the ratings and the larger Disney stuff that's going on. It's kind of dragging it all down. It's like, damn, we finally getting a half decent story that's continuing on, something to get excited about. But the brand and everything else is kind of pulling it down at the moment. But I've been thoroughly excited about what's going on in Mandalorian. I just don't know how they plan to make that leap towards the trilogy stuff, the sequel trilogy stuff, and it has to be very delicate. Because this is not very popular.
I think at this moment, like it's the only thing they can lead to is Battle of Jakku. And I'm telling you, the Battle of Jakku is going to be because of Thrawn and maybe Moff Gideon.
The video game did take care of that, though. The Battlefront game, they had Battle of Jakku.
Oh, so they showed what happened.
Yeah.
Wait, so is Battlefront a canon?
I think it is, but you know how canon can be, like,
because they said that Fallen Order game was canon, but I don't know how canon these games and stuff. Not saying they aren't, but I don't know how canon they are.
Well, you can always add to the.
If it's canon, then I'm completely wrong. Because
no, it could still be canon, Kata. They could just say like, oh, while all that was happening, everything you were talking about was happening too.
Well, this is what I think. I think the Battle of Jakku is gonna be whatever Thrawn and his army and stuff, remnants of the Empire, versus Ezra, Ahsoka, Mando, Grogu, and all these other people that we have seen so far. Boba Fett might show up, and Gideon might just be there too on the side of the Empire. They're all fighting together, fighting against each other, and that's when the Empire kind of goes away for a while. But that's what I think. But if that didn't happen in Battlefront 2, then I'm completely wrong.
The ratings are sucking because it took over 2 years to get this season. It's also not an accurate rating system. Sambo is like...
It's a bit behind. So everything we're seeing now for Mando has been for like the first 3 episodes. And then it'll be a month from now, we'll get what we're watching now and see how people watched it.
I heard that on YouTube this week and can't stop laughing. Oh, you heard that everyone loves Star Wars except Star Wars fans. And it's a little true, but honestly, no one is more passionate than Star Wars fans. They're protective of their personal Star Wars. That's valid, but like it's because of what we got. There's good reason to be upset at this stuff. And the ratings, let me get back to this ratings issue. It's not an issue because the toys that they're selling out of this show are there. That little ship the ship here in the background when Carson Teef was flying back to be with Mandos, that ship that Bo-Katan flies is going to be a hot seller. I don't care how many people watched it. The hardcore people, the toy audience, watched this episode, and that's going to sell that toy there. Mythosaur is going to be a toy that sells. Every creature that they've done, that alligator with the turtle shell that we keep seeing in the water there, that's going to be a figure that's going to sell for ages. Mandalorian and all their armors, there's a new one now. what's that boy's name? The one that's played by Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. That little kid, the little Vizsla kid, he's gonna be a toy.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of people and characters that are coming out of here that'll be toys. When Marvel has crap ratings, I don't know how many Ms. Marvel Kamala Khan toys there are that's gonna sell. I'm not sure
that's
that
the
Hawkeye.
thing. I think that's the concern, is because the Mandalorian line specifically, not Star Wars,
Ragnar.
but the Mandalorian specifically is it. And so it may be healthy, it may be consistent, but if it's not growing, then it's kind of, you're biding your time until you have a slip. And when you only have one thing, when you're a one-trick pony and it's not getting any bigger, now that has caused the concern, because that's what's driving the brand at the moment. So I think when you tie that together with diminishing eyeballs coming towards the content, you start to think, all right, how can we make this thing grow if it's our only thing that we got?
Guilty, I thought Black Series, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, etc. See, yeah, you're a toy guy, see? And then William says, is it possible for Star Killer to show up? William. I think that's for K-Dot. K-Dot, you're the Star Killer guy.
That's one of my favorite Force users. I think he portrays how I want the Force to be shown. Not all that OP stuff. He's OP. He's probably the strongest we've ever seen. Stronger than Luke and Rey. But they're gonna ruin him. He's gonna be a downgraded version, and he's gonna be kind of soft. Yeah, he's a beast. I don't want them to touch him. Leave him alone. We don't need to see him. It would be cool to see Sam Worthington come into the lore and they make him canon to play him, because he does the voice for like the Emperor, Maul, and all these different characters, and he looks just like Starkler, because they literally took his face and made that his character's face for the game. Yeah. But no, leave him alone. I don't want them to touch him. He's too powerful. He literally will break lore. He is OP.
3 episodes left. They better be loaded. If Starkiller comes in live action, he will be watered down. Yeah, it should be.
Starkiller is so powerful. He fell from space, and he grabbed a TIE fighter by his 2 hands and spun it around and threw it in the air. He wasn't standing on nothing. He literally spun it around like he was Superman. I was like,
sounds more like Kal-El.
Returning to the home of, or actually he's not returning there. It's the first time he's showing up, but it's because R5 has some sort of like tracking device. He was able to get to R5D4 blah blah blah. Where is it?
R5 been snitching.
And I don't know why they didn't just say like kick R5 to the curb. Clear out.
It's I mean, so did he know? Did he? Because for him to track R5, he would have to know R5 is with Mando, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing.
R5 is supposed to be with Pelimoto and Tatooine.
Right. I'm not trying to say this like destroys the episode for me or whatever, but it's kind of weird because he would have to know R5 is with him to track R5 to get to Mando.
Okay, here, Kata, just to fix it, Carson Teva is really smart. If we just say he's a genius, then that's that. Like he exercised all his resources, try to get Mandalorian. He typed in Mandalorian on his like internet database, and then the R5 sensors heard the word Mandalorian a lot. He was like, "Oh, let me see. This is the way." Oh yeah, R5 seems to be hearing that a lot.
I think he looked at the script ahead of time and he knew where they were going to be at. He was like, "Okay, boom, I got it."
Also, upon them being discovered, someone finding their secret hideout for the umpteenth time, this is finally the episode that they move along. It's very ironic. It's very ironic.
Yeah, and I'll say this, since you said that, I kind of like how quick they even decided to move on to a different place.
Like, man, we got attacked twice by these monsters. Right. Everybody keeps finding us. We are hella exposed. It's time to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad this episode they didn't do any more pushback, because I think that was the issue with the prior seasons. Too much dilly-dallying with a lot of characters, and them like not coming to conclusions quick enough as they should. Like, yeah, they should definitely take up Mando's offer and live on Navarro, live above the sewers and stuff where they can, live freely. Now they want to take back Mandalore, but this is a good decision they made. because it was if I talked about this in the first episode, I'm glad they're not trying to drag stuff like the thing with the IG-11. You know, I was thinking they was going to drag that for about 2-3 episodes just to find that one stupid little part. But nah, Mando said, well, I'll just use R5. Because that's what I would have done. I'm like, I ain't finna look for this part. Freak him. I'm gonna use R5.
Right but there. That IG-88 droid, that was actually in the background. When you see all the little creatures there during this episode, you saw behind they were still working on fixing that IG unit. IG-11, I should say.
He better not show up in the finale to pick up
Grogu. He'll probably show up in the finale, but at least all of the repair stuff will have happened in the background, and we didn't.
Right, it was not like a main. I didn't want to be a main plot thing to take away from the show because that is not something we needed to take away from it. But these characters this season, people can kind of I don't disagree when people say some of these episodes still feel like side quest like, but I think it's strictly just due to the fact that the characters we are dealing with, the Mandalorians, and this includes Din too, they have no big goals in life. Like they're just they keep to themselves. They're just bounty hunters. They're hired killers. They live by a code and they wander. That's it. They just make money, bring back money for their crew, so they can buy stuff. All this, and that's it. They have no goals in life. And I think that's one thing that holds back the show just a little bit because our main character still has no big goal in life. He has his Darksaber, but doesn't want to do nothing.
We know that they live lives outside of the creed, though, right? We found that out when we found out dude's son, that he had a son. So we know that they have relationships outside of the creed. It just hasn't been fully fleshed out. And that's the balance act, right? People say, oh, well, there's all this unexplained stuff about the Mandalorians that we don't get. And then when they take time out of the action to do it, they're like, what is all this meaningless day in the life stuff? Like, let's get back to the action. So you have to find a good balance to do it. You just we can't get it all at once. I don't think if we got the entire, complexity of the Mandalorian creed versus actual human behavior, we wouldn't have room for anything else in the season.
Sure. So, I mean, yeah, I think there's a good balance of it, because I have no issue with them fleshing out stuff. It's just that for me, based off how the show has been building up stuff and just showing things with the Mandalorians, it feels like this is their life. It doesn't feel like it's like a second. That to me, it feels like this is literally their life. Like this is all Mando does. He's just bounty hunting. Like I don't think he really does anything else in his free time. I'm not saying he does. He doesn't. But it feels like this is literally their lives. And hey, maybe what's this guy named Paz Vizsla?
Yeah, Vizsla.
Hey, maybe he wasn't supposed to have that kid. He probably, because because it's usually the people that stick by the rules the most that end up breaking the rules. Because he's right there with the armory, he's very professional. I wouldn't be shocked if he went to this planet one day, saw this girl. Because remember, in episode 4 of season 1. Remember that girl that was trying to flirt with Din?
Yeah, she had a daughter,
trying to get on the stage. And she just knew him for one day. She was like, and Din was tempted. I ain't gonna lie to you. He was tempted. I don't blame him. He should have stayed.
He took off his mask to take a little drink, but he was hoping. He was hoping his creed would be broken.
Right. Give him that excuse to stay,
So in the episode, we get to Navarro. That's the plan. The goal of it now is clear to me, at least, that where Bo-Katan's goal is to unite all the Mandalorians. Let's go find everyone else. We know that Din cares a lot about his Mandalorian creed. You guys remember Book of Boba Fett finale? In the last episode, when it was just the two of them, Boba and Din, Boba was like, now's a good time for you to leave. And then Din was like, no, I'm part of this mission, right? Like, this is the way. He said some answer like that, but he did say this is the way. This guy tries not to break his religion. He's very serious about that. So his love for Mandalorian culture, he's a foundling. It saved his life. It's the reason he is who he is. It means so much to this character. That's been demonstrated through all the episodes he showed up in. So yes, now after season 3, it's no longer about getting Grogu to Luke Skywalker. It's now what's about setting a foundation for our creed. Let's take back our planet, restore it, have peace and happiness for our people, because that means so much to him. So I'm satisfied with it now. it was up in the air. I remember Onzo was on here talking about how the Mandalorian isn't really direction anymore. It is now. While it's not like mission of the week, let me get that bounty, return to Navarro, let me get that bounty, it's not that anymore. It's more so it's about Mandalorians, and it's called The Mandalorian.
Chill. I swear to you, in the next couple years, I don't know when, you're probably gonna be like super old when this happens, and I might be in my 20s or my 30s when this happens.
What did this man just say right
now? When we get to episode 9, I'm telling you, they're going to create like some little animated like little thing where they're going to flesh out episode 9 more, and watch Din Djarin be in part of the ships flying. Like, I guarantee you the Mandalorians are going to be part of that army flying in with the other ships to come deal with Sidious. Like, I feel like they're going to take all these characters we're seeing, maybe Ahsoka, she lives that long, no, and find a way to like rework it, make them make sense
on the Sith world. You mean in the final fight scene?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to like
in here.
They're going to do some little retconning. They're going to do some retconning because we've seen it with we're filling in from the prequels to with Clone Wars filling in, some characters get introduced.
We need a prequel series of the sequel trilogy
to make it make sense. Nah, like if the sequels wanted to do that, they wouldn't have had Force Awakens and Last Jedi happen one day apart from each other. Yeah. If they really thought things through, they'd have spaced them out. But no, you guys live in you set your bed, live with that. That's the legacy of that trilogy of movies where you had a director and writer, and then you just saw the other writer. You could write whatever he wants, and then you could fire the next writer.
Bob Iger can't. Well, Kathleen and now Bob coming in, they can't sit with it because they want to.
Kathleen
they want. Well, Bob is trying. Bob, since he acknowledged that they rushed this, I feel like he's gonna try and make amends with the audience and do this. Like really do what the Clone Wars did.
They will make Star Wars extinct if they fail on the next movie. They know that. They will extinct one of the biggest film properties in the world. They will render it inert if they fail with the next movie. So I think that's what all of this. No, Kevin, you go. Lindelof, you go. Kathleen, this is your last shot. Okay, last go round. This is your last hurrah. Give me something viable, right? Because I heard that's what's happening with the Acolyte too. So the Acolyte is not even really, it's not a show being shot. They're shooting a pilot. They're putting a pilot together to pitch to Iger to see if he even wants to move forward on it. Like they are being very particular, not just about Star Wars stuff, but everything at Disney right now about what gets out of there. And it's like, it feels a little too late, but then again, it'll never change if you don't do something different. So it seems like some of this is warranted.
Hey, we thought the prequels was too late, but they fixed some stuff with Clone Wars. It doesn't really make amends for everything, but it kind of fleshes stuff out. I hope Star Wars, after they fill in all this stuff with the sequel trilogy, I don't want them to follow this trend again. It's just going to be a really bad habit. This is the second time they are doing this with this franchise, trying to fill in the blanks. I hope this is the last time we see this and they just get it right the next trilogy. Right? They just knock it out the park and do well so they don't have to do this. So I guarantee you, if they knock it out the park, they're going to feel satisfied and won't have to fill in the blanks. Because, they're just filling the blanks. They know they messed up bad. I just hope this is the last 2 times we see this for, as long as I'm alive. I don't want to see this again. Like this trend of having to fill it in again because we messed up. Like, just get it right the first time. Like Disney had every opportunity to get Force Awakens right the first time. They had every opportunity.
I like Force Awakens. I didn't like Force Awakens.
Yeah, until you see
it wasn't until Last Jedi that I hopped off.
Yeah.
Right. Like Force Awakens was good enough to keep me engaged. I understood it was a different Lucasfilm. It was the first Disney film. They Disney-fied it a bit, but I didn't hate it. Right. When we got to Last Jedi, I couldn't. It was so weird. Things were happening that didn't make sense to me. Characters that I loved all of a
We
sudden
know we do this all the time though. Every time we bring up the sequel trilogy, we trash on them, and we get everyone has set their feelings on where that is. The episode does resume with the bad guys retreating because the good guys are so good at being good. What I like also, it's not just like that they retreated; it's that they were caught by the people of Navarro, so they weren't like useless. They were over here at least, they're pointing their guns and being like, "Hey, give up." It wasn't until the Mandalorians got there that they put their weapons down, but still, the home team actually played a part, and it is now it's from like this land to that landmark. The Mandalorians have a home in Navarro. There weren't even that many of them, so it's going to be plenty of land. It's just like it's a matter of safety for these guys. Anyone can take over Navarro. I don't know what Navarro has. Spice, is that what they deal with? They're just the trade port, right? So they don't necessarily need to have a planet that has natural resources that are useful. They're the trade port. They're independent.
Well, I think since they're pirates, it's not like I don't think they're trying to set like a business, but think about it, if they control this like trade port, they controls what goes in, what goes out. They can kind of take whatever they want and extort people for just a little bit more, but kind of hide it using. Well, they basically came out. I think they went about it the total pirate way, which is kind of like they didn't think about it like.
I think everything that comes, every box, if there's 100 boxes, they're saying, listen, we're going to take one box of whatever it is that you're moving. Oh, you guys are pushing gold. Cool. We now have a box of gold. But don't worry, we'll fuel you guys up. We could promise you your package gets to where it needs to get to, but we take that 1%, 0.1%. I think that's the best way to go about it.
They just straight up wanted the town, but I think, and this why most pirates fail. They don't think ahead. Think about it. If they just try to take over the town, but leave all the people in place as they are, but it's like, it's messed up, but the cartels run Mexico, but they don't intrude too much on Mexico's business. They're just in the back, but they pretty much control like almost everything going on there. The business, and they get their slice of the pie. It's messed up, but they could have went in there like the cartel.
They could have. I want to show one last part that everyone on the internet, or some people on the internet, have been talking about. It's about how these guys are not going to make any sound, of course, because they're extras. They add the sound in post, but their celebrating was so bizarre. Watch it. Watch especially the lady that you're going to see on the right side of the screen.
What?
The noise doesn't match.
Wait, go back. Pause it. Go back 10 seconds. Scroll. Go. Play it just a little bit. I'll play it when it's not. Keep going. All right, it's gonna be after this part. Pause it. Look at the lady to the left.
She the only one got her gun up.
Why she got it posted up? Who's she trying to shoot?
Bizarre, right?
He's like, I'm not putting mines down.
They're trying to. She's trying to shoot the people that just saved them.
Someone needed to give her directions. Yes. Why is her gun out?
She's cheesing hard. She's cheesing like she doesn't know what to do. She's like, do we put our guns down?
Yeah. So weird. We're at the end of the episode, but when the episode ends and it feels like, all right, we got a wholesome moment, everyone in Mandalore is safe. Bo-Katan gets the direction. You may unhelmet. And when she unmasks herself, all of a sudden the rules have changed. We, as the Mandalorian creed that used to hide our numbers so we know no one has to show their face, that doesn't apply anymore. Not for Bo-Katan anymore. And the new Mandalorian rule where you got to keep your helmet on, let's remember, never existed during the Clone Wars era. All those Death Watch guys took their helmets off and it was fine. Everyone lived on that moon of Concordia. Even though they were banished and everything, they were fine, completely fine with unmasking. That's a new rule. I think this is going to be dropped. Whoever the hell made the rule that you got to go to the living waters to bathe just to be redeemed, I don't know where the hell that came from. But now it's recognized.
It's a cult. Tell me you're in a cult without telling me you're in a cult.
It's a cult.
This is some cultish stuff. And I guarantee, like, in most of this cult, the funny thing is, most of the people alive now have never even been to Mandalore. So for the armor to say you need to go bathe in the living waters, like, you ain't even been on this planet. You don't know what the living waters is. We're talking about living waters. You need to take a bath in the waters so you can be redeemed.
I'm just saying there must be some old playbook in the rule book maybe that says, should our numbers ever be small and we're exiled from Mandalore, subsection 64, paragraph A, it says over here we have to be masked up until we find a home. Maybe, but that's like a stretch. I don't know. I can't actually put my feet behind that one. That's the MCU. I call them movies. The Eternals was a film. Is there a difference? I like to think so. Content, movies, film, cinema. There's a difference. There is a difference for sure. You guys are arguing about something I don't care about though. So like, what happens here is the end credit scene, kind of. Carson Teva. Let me skip over to the part here. He's just, where is he? Carson Teva is just, minding his own business, doing some investigating, and he can see. And one thing I loved was the astromech droid. It has a camera on it. It's wireless. It can travel through without being attached to anything. And you know how like R2-D2 would get soup ups in the prequel trilogy, and we're like, whoa, where were those jetpack booster rockets? We didn't have to worry about that with this. We can just say that because it's a unique droid. We can just say, look, this has the ability to fly and do some reconnaissance, and that's what it's for. An X-Wing pilot would definitely need an astromech droid that has that. So boom, and again, that's another toy. Whatever this droid is, it has a name, and it's already on the shelves right now, I'm sure. They find out that was the ship that Moff Gideon was taken in. There's a dead body in there, a couple of dead bodies, and fans are speculating Cara Dune was part of the mission to get Moff Gideon to jail. He didn't show up for his court date. Cara Dune might have died here on this ship. Cara Dune is gone. That's possible, right?
So I understand that it's a convenient way to tie up the Cara Dune character, right? And they mentioned her earlier on in the season, so people naturally you thought, okay, they'll probably do something to tie that up. But damn, Moff Gideon went to jail at the end of season 1. Are we just now thinking about, hey, whatever happened to that Moff Gideon guy? Did he actually make it to where he was supposed to go?
Oh, he was in season 2.
Oh, wait. I'm
sorry.
sorry. You're right. He was in season. Damn, it's been so long.
I still believe what you're saying is a true complaint because a lot of time.
Yeah, it was 2 years. That. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so still 2. So for 2 years, we've been sitting around talking about all kind of stuff, Grogu and Luke Skywalker, and oh wait, by the way, the big bad that we just took out. Did he ever go to trial? What happened to that guy?
Elia Kane was behind the scenes making sure that nobody asked questions about it. I think that whoever it was that was supposed to be in charge of Moff Gideon's transfer and stuff, the assigned officer probably mysteriously had to go do something and died. And so like I think that's probably what the best answer that I could get. I need to hear that answer, because the way it is now is like Moff Gideon was pretty powerful.
And it wasn't even like it was some big inquiry either. It was this random guy, random foot soldier. It's like, hey, let me go check on this. Let me go see what happened to this shit.
I told you he's a genius.
For him,
he's not random. See, this is why he's got to be the best possible ranger. He is so supreme. He's got the intelligence of Riri Williams and the ingenuity. Why did you laugh at that?
You better hope. I mean, you better hope. You better hope that's what it is. Otherwise, he fumbled himself into the biggest plot since blowing up
Palpatine
the Death Star.
has returned.
Or since Palpatine has returned. There you go.
With the way that the New Republic was characterized, that guy was just a goof at his desk, like, whatever. They're not even a part of our system. Like, that guy was just like operating on a whim. He didn't take his job too seriously. I think the New Republic is a joke. They said something like that.
That was the ladies' man, by the way. Leon
Tim
Phelps.
Meadows. So where's that from? Where's the reference from? Because somebody said that in the live chat. We didn't get it.
The movie, The Ladies' Man with Leon Phelps. You guys never saw that movie?
Maybe I saw
Karen Parsons.
No.
Oh my God! Do yourself a favor one time and just take an hour and a half and watch The Ladies' Man.
What year?
Ooh,
2000.
Late 90s, early 2000s, maybe. It had the chick from Saved by the Bell in it. Karen Parsons was in it. I think John Witherspoon was in that movie, maybe.
Karen Parsons from like Hillary?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. She did things after that show because she's nowhere.
Yeah, she had a couple roles. She was in Major Pain.
Reginald Hudlin's in that. Reginald Hudlin acts. I thought he was just a comic guy. And
what? Reggie Hudlin was in the movie?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
You gotta watch the movie.
I gotta watch it again. Apparently,
take an hour, 45 minutes of your life.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm shelling almost $30, I probably should. Huh? They're talking about something else. I remember. KG, hello.
What up?
And it says here, or Axe and Casca extracted him. Axe Wolves and Casca Reeves were the two Mandalorians who were with Bo-Katan earlier. They're not with her anymore. Why? Is it to
what
put
is
their
it?
own
Why?
brand?
Yeah, why aren't they there?
They said they're mercenaries now. As soon as Bo-Katan didn't return with the Darksaber,
they saw
that's
she was
it.
black. Yeah,
Okay.
half-white.
Well, mercenaries to do anything for a check, right? And I'm assuming Moff Gideon can write a whole lot of credits.
I'm assuming so too.
Duh.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think they just thought she was like whack for not like challenging for Darksaber, because they never really like told us if she even tried to challenge or if she did it, like whether they did or not. It just seems like Din just took it and he just got it. Because you would think that they would have probably challenged for it by now, especially Bo in that moment, because she could have challenged him right there on that ship if she wanted to, and he would, by Creed accept, and they could have done it right there.
Would he though? I felt like she low key talked to him about challenging, and that's when he tried to give it up to her. And that I think that's when she realized like he's not going to fight me for it.
That's what I think he tried to do. I think he honestly tried to give it up, and personally, I would have just dropped it on the ground and went like, "Here, take it."
Here, like, look, if you don't walk away with it, it's just going to sit here.
Right, we ain't got to tell nobody about it. But I think he attempted that, but she just has this weird I don't know. Her motivations is kind of like
no, Jared.
You really don't know because you don't know if she wants to say or not. You don't know if she's gonna betray Din last minute and take the save, which I doubt she will at this point. But
I don't know. See, I still don't know.
She doesn't care enough about the saber like she was built up to, and they never really went anywhere with it. It's like just a lingering thing that they have not gave no conclusion to. It's clear she cares more about the Mythosaur, which I think if she rides the Mythosaur, I mean,
that's it.
But I have a strange feeling Din's going to somehow ride it before her. I have a feeling that they're going to do something and Din ends up riding it with the Darksaber. Because that would totally make the most sense for them to do.
I think she wants everything that she set out to have. And I think she sees the prospect of it all coming to her, but it's coming in a way that she never expected it by, kind of giving herself over to the creed and ingratiating herself fully into the cult or the religion or whatever you guys are calling it. And it's bore more fruit than what she thought. But when she is, like you said, placed with that decision, okay, do I take the Darksaber from Din? Because she's also gaining a relationship with him on all these adventures they're going on. So like I don't think she wants to betray him, but she still has that ultimate goal in her sight. She's going to come to a crossroads at some point, I believe.
I can see that. All right. The mystery is intriguing enough for me. Who actually broke out Moff Gideon? What were the intentions? Was it mercenaries, work for hire? Was it Casca Reeves herself, who was there the day Luke Skywalker went in and saved everybody? She was there. Then did she be like, you know what? Actually, I know what to do. Let's bring him in. And if she did bring him in, was it just to punch him every day of his life until he dies? Or was it to I don't know, sell him for money and be like, Bo-Katan's not going to resurrect Mandalorian. We'll do it the right way. We'll get all the credits. I don't know. But also, she's a wrestler. I don't expect her to have a significant role like that. I expect her to be the henchman. So, you don't hire wrestlers for her.
She went toe to, well, after watching Book of Boba Fett, it's not much of a feat now. Anybody can go toe to toe. But she did go toe to toe with Boba Fett. But Boba Fett in the Mandalorian season 2 was great. Though.
He was a beast.
Right. But Robert Rodriguez, I don't know what happened going from, because he directed episode 5 where he came in and did his thing.
Yes.
When we got to his show, he was like, "Ooh, he lost his mojo."
Watch your tongue.
But she did go toe to toe with Boba Fett in episode season 2, and he was pretty much a beast. So
what's crazy?
She got a little bit more to her. She got a little bit more to her. She got some heart.
I think Den versus Bo minus the dark saber, I'd still take Den. If he's using the dark saber, it's Bo all the way. It's easily Bo.
Right.
If he's using the dark saber, yeah,
easily.
Because she can easily just snatch it out of his hand and do her thing.
Plus he's a man and she's a woman. Like, okay. I mean, there's a reason why Jonathan Majors is under fire. I just saw you do a video on a back of the bus, like just a couple of hours before I started this live stream. You posted your Jonathan Majors text message video.
Yeah, we recorded that after the live stream on Thursday.
That's why William
I didn't get to watch it yet.
Yeah. I was just saying that's why you were mentioning people in your live chat. And I guess it was part of your live, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know either. I don't know. I don't think the text helped
Majors?
Him. Yeah, I don't think they helped him, but I don't think they necessarily incriminated him either. So
they didn't incriminate him, but it does look bad. I was watching the Comics Pals just before I started this stream. You guys look at the Comics Pals if you want that comic book entertainment field. They're great. 4 guys just chatting. And Sean was really adamant, like, I know those texts. That is the sound of a domestic violence victim. You saw how 3 hours passed and she still texted him back. That's because she's looking for assurance. And he was like, sure of it. I'm still not sure or certain.
Yeah, there's a lot of assumption in that though. And then if you're telling me that's your experience, how am I to know that you're not projecting your experiences or the experiences of someone you care about onto this situation?
Right.
Because I posed the question. I'm not so dense that I don't understand where that's coming from and how that makes sense, because I do. My problem with it is, if she initiated the violence, how else would she have apologized? Like, how else would that conversation have gone if she was the one who initiated the violence? It probably would have gone something just like that as well, if she was actually trying to take responsibility for it.
As well as who calls 911 on themselves.
Thank you.
But
one thing though, give the benefit of the doubt to the male involved in the situation if the woman was the one who made the call?
911 is who you call for fire, police, and ambulance. It's possible he called for an ambulance for her health, and then the police came.
Police department. Because I look for that too. It's different if you call emergency services. Something may be going on, but he called the police department.
Okay, then.
So you know what I mean? Like,
there's a taxi cab footage which will clear everything and all of this is speculation. Maybe he is guilty of being the worst kind of guy, or maybe it was more so like you were reenacting in your video on the phone. Get off me, get off me, and like she caught a couple stray kind of just get off of me, which I would be. That's fine. You don't get rid of some guy and his movies and ruin his life because someone was like coming after him and all he was doing was kind of this. Under attack, he was doing this stuff. Like that's not. I woke up. That's not. I woke up. A woman said to me something that I disagreed with in my home, and I said, "No, know your place," and I begun an assault. That's not domestic violence on that. That's such a different. It should be a different field, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it like you said, it's all going to get cleared up with the video. It's going to tell us everything we need to know. And if it was a situation, and honestly, from what his lawyer is telling us, what they've been willing to give us so far, and what they say is to come, it sounds like some sort of physical altercation started, and it may have been initiated by the young woman. If that's the case,
I think that's the only thing they can allude to.
Like, she would be saying the exact things that she's saying in that text message if she was taking responsibility for it. It started when I started taking your phone. I tried to explain to them over and over again. They took you only because it is protocol to take someone when there has been a physical altercation and the police have been called. Right? Now, we can have a long conversation as to why he was taken and not her, why not both of them were taken, right? Why they assumed that it was Majors who was not only, who started the conflict, but perpetuating it. I don't know, because I don't know where you get any of that from what is being put out so far. But I don't think that we could just naturally apply, an abuser-abusee relationship to anything that we see, because we don't know. We literally don't know. We just went through this a similar situation with Johnny Depp, right?
Oh yeah.
Johnny Depp's wife says something about him, writes this op-ed. She gets allotted as Woman of the Year. She becomes the Billboard poster face for violence against women in relationships. And then all of a sudden we bring it into court and the truth comes to light. And we see just how far she was willing to go to perpetuate this narrative. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on with this lady. Again, I have no idea. I'm not saying that it is to that degree.
Yeah, it could be Jonathan Majors is a terrible guy. Could be.
It could be. But the fact is, we should give it the due process it deserves to get the full bevy of the facts before we start picking and choosing what matters more, out of what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Nerdman, you wanted to add something you were telling me yesterday. He's muted, actually. So, Kata, go ahead.
That's the thing, too, and I agree. I've been seeing this on Twitter, and I think everyone so far, I've not said that Jonathan's guilty or he's innocent. And I'm sticking to this. I hope none of this that is set up the way it's being set up is true, right? I hope that Jonathan didn't just randomly whack a girl because she was trying to look at his phone. I don't want it to be just, and mind you, I don't want it to be just, Jonathan is correct because he's a man, all that stuff. Like, I don't want it to even be that. I just don't want this to be true for him because this is really bad. And, I've been rooting for this dude and I want to see him go places. But for people to take those texts and go like, oh, this is typical. This is what abusers typically do. Or people just saying he's completely innocent. Look, I'm looking at it like this when I see those texts, right? Because I am of the belief that if you ain't going to fight too hard for your own justice, and I'm not going to fight harder than you for it, that's just me. But if you out there fighting for yourself and I see, you fighting for yourself, I got your back. These texts to me just look like she's saying, I'm at fault for something. I am sorry. Then that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it for what it is. There could be more underlying stuff to it. That's why there's people hired that work in this field that try to figure this stuff out and look beyond just these texts, right? But what I'm looking at, taking it for what it is, she's saying she's apologizing for something, right? Or she could be being manipulated. I don't know, but people are doing too much. People are looking into it too much and assuming what is not even in the text. Like, is like how you jump from that. I get it.
But it does sound like when she says it was my fault. I told them it was my fault. It does sound like, well, then you were only hit because of your actions. It still makes it sound like
right. I mean, I say it can go one or two ways. Like Jonathan could have straight up smacked her in the face, and she's just like most people.
And that's what this sounds like. Read this text, the 6th line. It says, "I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone." Now, what was my fault? It was my fault. Meaning what? The markings on my face? No, it's my fault.
That's why I say the altercation in itself was her fault.
Yeah,
but that sounds like also that true. Sounds like
that's why when
she didn't hit first, or she didn't,
does sound like
she didn't initiate whatever kind of thing was, because if she could have said, I'm really sorry, it was my fault because I started getting rough or whatever. I don't know, like something.
But she doesn't get particular either way, though. She doesn't get particular in his actions or hers. So if we're not going to naturally assume she's defending herself or him, I just twisted myself up. If we're not going to assume that she's naturally defending herself, then we shouldn't naturally assume she's defending his actions either.
Yeah, that's what I say. It can only go one or two ways from that statement. Either Jonathan hit her first and she's trying to defend him and make up for it, like trying to appeal to him and say,
wouldn't you be more emphatic about, like, why would you even because I get an inkling she might have known that they're going to use these texts. Like, you don't think they would have? You don't think she would have known that they would have used these texts in his defense?
I mean,
it seems he certainly knows that because he's not responding. But you have a point because she's continuing to respond even after He's
not
talking
responding.
Marcus, he could be responding. He could have deleted those texts where he did respond and then just screenshotted this too.
Sure, but I think a lawyer would have probably told him not to.
I think the lawyer was an idiot for introducing this because none of it alleviated him. Nothing exonerated him here from actually putting hands on her. So she should have never get rid of your lawyer. I don't even think she's going to be able to get this taxi cab footage. Go get on the phone with your sister or mother or someone who cares about you to contact the taxi cab company to get this footage because it doesn't. This lawyer is what's her name? Priya Chaudhry. We need another lawyer. I don't care. That is just a dumb decision to do right now.
Yeah.
Like I said,
we have until May 8th. We have a month and 7 days until May 8th. We could have gone that month and 7 days without these texts that make it sound like she's a little bit of a victim of abuse or it makes it sound like there was an incident and that she feels like she's at fault. She does classify it as a fight rather than classifying it as an abusive attack. There's a lot of things in this text message that don't help, and we could have gone a month and 7 days without that text message laying in our background. It could have been I don't know. We got to wait till the video. I don't know for a month and 7 days, but we're not going to have that anymore because of what the lawyer did.
The only thing that makes sense. Oh, go ahead, Nerman.
Go. Yeah, thank you. The one thing that I missed about the text yesterday, which I was like, I can't believe I missed this. If you pull up the text, what is this thing she says about how they had to, because this makes me think that she's either kind of manipulating the situation, or there could be other things. She could be genuinely a victim. Or the bottom. But she says they made me read a thing about strangulation.
They just called again to check on me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go. Read it.
He says here at 9:32, which is 3 hours later. They just called on me to check on me. I reiterate. First of all, if they called at you at this hour to check on you, that's malarkey. I don't think that those are business hours. I feel like things are fishy. They did not actually call you at 9:30, but this is Nerdman's piece. Nerdman says that this was not an attack and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Now I get it. Okay, she read a newspaper, is what she's saying.
Newspaper? Or
they probably gave her like a pamphlet or something like that on domestic violence.
That's what I thought she was saying. It was a pamphlet about strangulation. Is that how you interpreted it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if it's a paper about strangulation, I can understand the comment. But if it's a pamphlet about strangulation, why do you even need to see a pamphlet about fucking strangulation to know if you were strangled?
She was strangled because when the police showed up at Major's crib, even though he was calling on her well-being, I believe at that moment, I don't believe it's possible at the moment. She was like, no, he hits me, he strangled me, and strangle was one of the words she used. And they're like, all right, we're just gonna charge you for strangulation also. And then they're like, did it really happen?
How do you know this? Where did we get this from?
Everything I just said right now was speculation. Everything I said.
Oh, okay.
I do know he was charged with strangulation with like 3 other things. One of them was like harassment. But one of them was strangulation.
But don't you think it's a weird thing to point out to somebody? Oh, I looked at a pamphlet on strangulation and I said that isn't what he did to me. I.e., you did something else to me to injure my neck or something along those lines. But like it's just nothing she says is emphatic, and everything leaves her this wiggle room.
Yeah.
Right. Legally to go to turn around later and go, I was just in a victim mentality. I was so in love with him. Blah blah blah.
All of that she's in now with making these claims initially. She knows where she's at in the kind of public scrutiny she's putting herself under. So it makes sense now that she's actually dealing with law enforcement and all these investigators that she's choosing her words carefully. It would be nonsense to think that she doesn't have legal representation at this moment after all of this is coming out. So it all goes back to how soon did that happen, and when did this version of the story begin to perpetuate itself? You know what I mean? Like if we're thinking that she's choosing her words to lay out a very advantageous road for herself going down this path, then it all kind of comes back to, for me, as to, okay, well then how quickly did this, where did this come from? When did this become the story? Because I haven't heard the initial report that was given to the police to make them come in the first place.
And can I just, does anybody know about this girl? Because I don't want to put her name out there, but was his girlfriend, definitely, right? Like a long-term girlfriend. She's saying, I love you,
I love
blah,
you,
blah, blah. The beginning of that text sounds like he's broken up with her, right? Like
this part up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's almost cut. Yeah. That sounds a little bit like, you know, things are kind of shaky with them or something like that. And he's just asking, you know, did you leave the keys? Because she had the keys to his house before.
But then why do you go from do you have the keys to goodbye? I think there were some texts that were deleted in between.
I mean, you could probably
maybe a phone call happened. Maybe a phone call happened. You know, sometimes you text somebody and then you get a call, and then after that, yeah, that could have happened also.
So, it was possible, but look,
this is such a stupid conversation. There's a video in the taxi. Let's just watch the video. And
I know. Of course. But the fact that she's still saying "I love you" and all of this kind of things. Go.
This what I'm saying is whether. Now this is mine. It's not what I think it should be. This is what I believe. Whether Jonathan hit her first or not, I think if she's not even, we know that the state can pursue this if they want. They can pursue this. They do this many times where the victim or the person that's in the situation don't want to pursue it. The state might just pursue it. But at this point, I think if she's not pursuing it like that, I'll be honest with you, I'm not saying we shouldn't care, but like we shouldn't really be like fighting that much for it. If she does not care that much to seek her own justice for us, I'm not saying now. I think if we seen that video that Jonathan just straight up is on his phone, like he's looking like he needs to be let go from the roller cane. Like I think people should just be able to see the video, not even wait until he's innocent or guilty, and be able to decide and use their brain. Okay, she hit him first. It's clear self-defense. Jonathan can stay. Or he straight up hit her first, and he's like viciously going, yeah, we need to let him go. Even if he doesn't even if he's not marked as innocent or guilty, I think people in the company should look at that video, use their brains, and easily decide who's wrong in the situation.
Yep.
Did Creed 3 go on VOD because of that? Because I noticed that there was a copy out there. Is that why it went on VOD?
Well, I think last month they said it was coming to VOD pretty early.
How long? Creed has been out since what, mid-February?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came out for March.
No, I thought it came out in March. I thought it came out in the first week of March. Because it was like a week before
March
the
3rd.
Shazam Fury of the
March
Gods.
3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about a 4. Oh, well, no, that's early. For a successful movie, that seems a bit early. It's like 4 weeks.
It was doing well in the cinemas.
Yeah, and like I say, guys, I'm not saying that whether the court says he's innocent or guilty, y'all mad at me because at some point they said the court and the law and the public thought Amber Heard was completely innocent, right?
Boy,
everybody,
right?
But a lot of people did. A lot of people took Amber. They fired Johnny Depp from Warner Brothers and Disney.
Right, but
that's the reason why he was able to claim $15 million in damages, because you stunted this man's ability to be in these billion-dollar franchises.
And see, and that's the thing. People forgot how to use the noggin. There was audio recording coming out where Amber Heard literally admits, "Yeah, Johnny, I didn't punch you. I hit you." Anyone with a brain should be able to
tell him that I beat you, Johnny. No one's gonna believe you, Johnny.
Right,
I beat you. No one's gonna.
I don't believe you.
I don't have to wait until court to know if someone did something or not, unless there's no evidence up until the point when they do get to court that really shows us what happened. It's like, for example, the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case. That is something you have to wait until court to know. There was no evidence really released for us to come to a conclusion on who shot who, because there was so much coming out. It also came out that her friend shot the gun too. So then you get this new information.
Oh snap! I'm sorry to interrupt you, kid. The video's out of what happened with Majors and his girlfriend.
You're lying.
You have failed me for the last time.
You're lying.
April Fool's,
I knew that
right?
was a troll.
I'm excited for a minute. I was like, what? Really? Let's watch it. But it's just,
this is the Star Wars stream. Remember, we were talking Mandalorian for the first hour.
Okay.
And hey, I totally agree. Chill. Wait until the video. I'm waiting to the video. I want to see the video. From that video, we'll be able to decipher what happened and come to a conclusion. And I think at that point, once the company, Marvel Studios, once Feige sees that video, he's going to know how he's going to move moving forward, right? But hopefully when they do decide to make their decision, they kind of, I say get into too much of an explanation, but well.
How do you pivot out of that?
I mean,
That's going to cause more controversy. That's going to cause more controversy because let's say if Jonathan even is innocent, there's still people that's going to say, "Oh, he's still an abuser," blah blah blah. He put his girlfriend in a bad situation. He's problematic, even if he's innocent. I hope he is. I hope he's not guilty of this. I don't want to know this is happening. But even if he's innocent, people are still going to say he's guilty. If he's guilty, there's people that's going to say he's innocent.
I want to read Felicity because she's a woman. If I'm Disney, they doesn't need the smoke. They should not comment and let the court cases play out. Yeah, that's on May 8th. But they should still let Majors go. Kang didn't hit with the audience. Go another direction. This guy might be the reason we get X-Men. Avengers vs. X-Men sounds pretty good right now.
Like they have to zoom past the Kang saga and get straight to X-Men and force them to start working on that $70 billion investment they made buying Fox. It's crazy that we haven't done anything with that yet.
Hey, I think they're probably just gonna say that last scene with the Kangs, that I think they're gonna say if this does play out, let's say they do what Chill is doing, they totally abandon this Kang stuff. They might just say, "Oh, Kang was just defeated in Ant-Man 3. Hope you guys enjoyed the movie. That's great."
Well, but then you can never let Loki season 2 come out. Then
that would be hilarious, dude.
What are you gonna do with Loki season 2?
So hilarious.
Kata, what you do is you create a series called Kang Dynasty.
What, dude? I don't know why they did this because I'm gonna talk about this earlier. In No Way Home and Loki, they showed only one parallel variant to Loki, and that was the extra evil Loki. And every other Loki, you got a black Loki, white Loki, kid Loki, all these different Lokis. No Way Home, all these different Spider-Man, they don't look alike, but they're variants. I do not understand why they made all the Kangs, for the most part, look like Jonathan. Like,
especially if you don't. Well, they did have Nexus being because Wanda's a Nexus being. So maybe that's what they're trying to get at. Kang was supposed to be a Nexus being. There's a version of him like him in every universe.
That's not Nexus.
What?
No, you're right.
A few of the Kangs have some alien-looking faces. That's why he may not be a Nexus being. But I feel like they did that just so they can. This is just me, theorizing. I feel like they did that because, like, okay, they made Kang black. They want him to be like so recognizable through all these Kangs. They just want him to be Kang. Because I was thinking, why isn't there like a white Kang or an Asian Kang or a Latino Kang or an alien Kang? Like all these different Kangs.
Maybe there will be now.
Like you can still have Jonathan as the main Kang to deal with, but add some variety of Kangs in that bunch. A lot of those Kangs, them Jonathans.
The TVA is outside the time, right?
I was just going to ask, like, I don't know if you guys have covered this already, but do you find these texts a little bit like shady, a little bit like they've been managed on her side to like almost ensure that, like to say certain things to ensure that, like, if she wants to flip, she can still flip.
I could see that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said,
it could be.
She's definitely gotten legal representation in the short amount of time that this happened. She couldn't. I wouldn't imagine she'd done anything else. Knowing that Jonathan Majors full on has legal representation, he's going to do everything he can to get out from underneath this. So if she's smart, she absolutely would have lawyered up. And if you're telling me the lawyer helped her type up that statement, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I didn't think so until you could see me change my mind and go crazy when you brought it up on our video yesterday, Nerdman. So yeah, it's this everything you're saying. Yeah, it's valid. This could easily be used against Jonathan. None of it really incriminates her too badly. It's just she sounds like a victim. She sounds like someone who suffers from Jonathan Majors' abuse and is trying to please him and is trying to get him to respond. And if he doesn't reply with, "No, woman, there was no fight. No, I did not actually hit you. It is not my fault. Nothing is your fault." And he just, they wanted him to say something back. It's possible. It's possible. It's a trap. Are we done? Is that it? The Mandalorian. Did you watch Mandalorian, Nerdman? What do you think about it?
No, I haven't seen any Mandalorian things. Sorry.
Are you gonna see the Mandalorian?
Is it good?
It's good. Did you like The Last Jedi
at all?
I did like The Last Jedi a bit.
Watch your tongue. The arid sands of Tatooine will once again flourish with flowered fields fertilized with the bodies of your dead.
For a Star Wars movie, it was entertaining. I don't know.
You said Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious
Yeah.
me.
Not a big fan, clearly.
No, none of us are. We're not fans of that. You are? Are you just like the movie, or are you like a Last Jedi fan?
No, I just thought it was good. I honestly, I don't get the hype about Star Wars. I really don't. I've watched them. Maybe I wasn't a kid. I did watch it as a kid, but I didn't remember it. And then I went back to watch it as an adult when I started YouTube. And I never really got it. I just don't get like what's so incredible about this thing that so many people. I mean, it's great.
That's it. That's why you're here.
No, it's great that so many people love it and are invested in that world, but I don't get it.
Okay.
I only like the last 20 minutes of each movie. That's when it picks up for me.
In the comments, we got Trinity who says the text seem.
That Return of the Jedi finale is dope. So I do agree. Nerdman, the last 20 minutes of Return of the Jedi, epic. Yeah. I like the movie still. I think Nerdman.
Oh, that's when they kill Snoke, right? Yeah, okay. That was okay. It was about the only decent scene in the movie.
We got going with him innocent. With him being innocent, I think she reacted without thinking about the consequences and wanted to walk it back. But the damage is done.
That's what happens, y'all. Yeah. People get in relationships, they get angry. Emotions lead to violence. That's everyday life. And as much as you are trying, or not you, but some people are trying to morph that into some monstrous, history of violence, and then it just culminating in this situation. It really doesn't have to be that. It could be a few moments in the heat of the moment, the heat of passion that boiled over, and now it's gotten so big that everyone's going to have to deal with it the legal way.
Well, and I think just bounce off Marcus real quick. I think we have gotten to a point, especially in America, where the laws have become there's loopholes with a lot of them. But for example, in most states, right, as when it comes to hitting someone, right, if someone hits you first, right, then they're automatically in the wrong, right? And most times they don't really look too deep into it, because it can be a situation where, let's say Marcus was like all up in my face, right? And he was just like saying something, like just saying like mean slurs and stuff. Like he was like all up in my face, literally in my ear. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm like taking it, and I just decide to like push him, and he falls over. Right? Marcus hasn't hit me yet. He's just been saying mean words to me, but I pushed him. But he's like straight up in my face, just yelling slurs. Mm-hmm. Right? But sometimes they may not factor that stuff in, really look and really. They might
just ask you if you try to get away. He was like, "Did you try?"
Yeah, to get away they might just say, "Oh, you hit him. You're the one at fault." It's like there's more to it. Now, in some cases, there's always these underlying things going on, but people have been able to abuse these laws so much. Not saying this girl is, but you can do this stuff now. You can abuse these laws so much because these laws they're so
they don't take into account that there's going to be people who are going to bend the laws. We're like, believe all women because we got to protect them. They're the less vulnerable. Like, what are the chances that they'll just fabricate something and ruin somebody's career? Not everyone is a Hollywood actor. They're not thinking of Jonathan Majors, a guy who has a public perception to maintain and has movies and billions of dollars of movies behind when they're making these laws that say, well, if the woman complains about it, you definitely 100% you got to bring him in. They're hurting this guy's career big time. TMZ by
when
reporting.
it comes to a black man and a white woman, trust me, like once even if you're a movie star, you're a black man when it comes to that kind of shit.
Unfortunately.
And I'm not, look, I don't know the girl or whatever. I'm just looking at those texts and I just think she sounds dangerous and a little bit like a little bit devious. And again, I don't know. I'd have to find out more and see more. But like just from the text itself, it was just like, why not be a little bit more emphatic if you really want to get this guy off this charge? Like, why not? It just sounds like she could flip, even if he's innocent, like just flip just for the sake of like, you know, getting some media spotlight or something like that, you know? So that's what I worry about. If he's innocent, that's what I mean. But, you know,
I think he's a good man.
The allure of, you know, your 5 minutes of fame could be a bit too much for her if she's one of those chicks, you know.
You got to stop talking and ending your sentence, and then I'm like, all right, now it's time for me, and then you kept going. You know, It says here,
I know.
The non-aggression principle isn't always easy to live by, but it should be followed. I think it's commendable. It's the right thing to do, not to raise your arms and hit anyone. In the scenario K-Dot was saying,
oh yeah. I agree too, but like I say, it's, for example, and even I said this, it happens in schools, right? And the example I use is a perfect example of what happened in a typical bullying situation. Let's say a bunch of kids surrounding a little kid, and they're just at his desk. Could be free time. Teachers out of the classroom. Could be 5 kids around this one kid, just yelling slurs, slandering them, all that, and the kid's just taking it. Now, let's say the kid finally decides to fight back, like he just breaks for a moment. In the world we live in now, people would call that kid wrong for what he did, even though in that situation you got 5 people picking on this kid and bullying him, and nobody else is doing nothing. He has to defend himself. He needs to stand up for himself because nobody else is doing it. But he would be labeled a bad person for taking up arms by the school and even the public for taking up arms and defending himself. Because the other kids didn't use physical force; they were just using words. They'll say, "I'm not saying we got to use physical force or everything," but
he's literally making the point about the slap. He's making the point about the slap.
Or even, you know, like, I'm not trying to fully defend the slap. You know, I can see.
No, I mean, but you're making sense though, right? People hold the idea of civility and decorum above real life interactions. They hold on to the idea of having a very, I don't want to say PC, but like that's a very PC outlook instead of dealing with what actually happens in real life. We know that, yes, we all ascribe or try not to get violent. That is the absolute last resort. We also do know that violence happens. It happens at a very high rate. And to sit up here and act like people insults and words don't regularly lead to violence is silly. It's just as silly as the people who are
but you're not trying to justify him slapping her because she got in his face and was talking, right?
No, I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that
it happens.
This type of stuff happens, that physical violence. First of all, I'm not asserting that he's the one that assaulted her at all.
No. I'm just asking if in that scenario.
Never mind. If you're asking me that, no, it doesn't justify. What it does is justifies my forgiveness. Or if the scenario does play out where there's a whole lot of and he's just after enough, he's bottled up and a little outburst comes out. I'm not going to look at Jonathan if it did happen, allegedly. If it happens, I'm not going to look at Jonathan Majors in a bad way. I would hope that he doesn't lose his job over it. I wouldn't go to a movie and find out, oh, he's in it. No way, because I can see how one thing leads to B, to leads to C, to leads to D. I get it.
So she,
but I'm not justifying.
Nerman, let me give
touching
you an
him, I think we could all
we don't
easily
know if
say.
she touched him or not.
But
no, I'm asking about the scenario you're laying out. I'm not talking about what actually happened.
I'm pretty forgiving in the scenario I laid out.
She doesn't touch him, but she's just talking, mouthing off. He's getting angrier and angrier, and he loses it and like slaps her, and then he starts going, "Oh, I'm sorry, for instance."
Yeah, it's not to say that it's okay, but it's like
it's not okay.
It's not okay,
restraint.
It's not okay. Even I in the situation probably just get out the taxi and walk away. But let's say if he decided to stay in the taxi and just take it. Let's say she's just like, he's in his phone. She's literally like right up to his ear, just yelling like, "Who you looking at? Who you looking at?" Just invading his space, like, "What you doing? What you doing?" I can understand why someone would get so mad and it's like try to push him off. I don't know how far he took it, right? I don't know how far he took it. Like, I understand why you would push him off. Not saying it's okay.
Yeah, pushing them off is very different from like.
I can understand it. I'm not saying it's.
I'm saying it's okay.
So, but I can really understand it, because if I was in a situation, I don't know. I might get out the taxi and walk away, or I might.
Cab is moving.
Like, get off.
You're in a moving cab. Like, I'm not expecting you to run away if you're in the back seat of a car. But
pushing someone away is very, very different. That's obviously forgivable. But like,
we don't know how far we don't know how far
hitting a woman. Like, I'm not saying that it's not understandable and forgivable, but I'm saying from a business perspective, you have to be like, well,
no, you can't. Sure. If he struck her in any real way, if it even looks like he got the better end of the altercation, I don't understand why they would play up the video at all. And you're right, Nerdman, in that perspective. Disney's not looking at this from okay, is he going to get convicted or not? They want to know, how messy is this going to get in the public? How bad does it make us look? Right? If they can survive it, they'll put some of the Kang stuff on ice for a while and push it towards another phase. If it looks like he's going to be a pariah in the media for the foreseeable future, they will can that shit faster than they can Johnny Depp.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, like, about if there was a kind of hit, which I don't believe there was. I have this sneaking suspicion that there wasn't.
I just don't think they would lead with video evidence if they weren't confident.
But your attitude towards it of like, oh, she's talking in his face, and I can understand that. I can understand the irritation and getting to that moment of just like losing yourself. A lot of people won't share that opinion. And that's what Disney cares about, because there'll be a number of women, a number of feminists, a number of men, whatever, who would just be like, no, you just don't hit a woman. And I kind of vibe with that in some sense myself. But like, I also am, quite a forgiving person. So,
but they won't give him the grace of understanding. They won't give him the grace of, was this the first time? They will naturally assume that that's just who he is. And that's the type of thing he does, and that will become the public perception for him.
Right. And that's why I was saying earlier that things is a little bit too definitive now, especially in these situations, because there's levels to stuff, right? Because there's people who definitively believe, and I believe this too, to an extent, no man should really have to raise his hand to a woman, right? Yeah. And, right, for the most part. But let's say one day a woman's running at you with, I don't know, a crowbar or something, right? And you decide to, whoop. I mean, there's going to be people that say, why'd you hit the woman? She had a crowbar. Now, if it's a situation where, let's say a woman is hitting you, right? And you can just get away, or kind of just like put like leave me alone, kind of like,
yes.
There's some people that just take it too far and go like,
yeah,
and it's like, dude,
where's my toothbrush? It's not in the place I put it.
Right, there's levels to it. For the most part, I don't like to try and hit anybody. I use, if I have to get into a physical altercation, it's like that it's as last resort. But
you can restrain a lot of women without having to resort to like punching or hitting. I mean, if there's a woman, like, I don't mean to be bad or anything, but like, like most women are smaller. Most women, like, I've been hit by a woman, it didn't even feel like I've been hit. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It doesn't feel. I don't. So if I just have to restrain them, that's it. That's all you need to do.
But
You
you
don't
put
need
someone in a
to
peculiar position when you tell them, okay, just restrain them instead of striking or doing anything else to defend yourself. Because now, okay, in my midst of trying to hold you and grab you, I could be taking more damage. You know what I mean? It's very situational.
Or if you try in this thing, people,
if there's any chance that they can do you like damage, if they're like, you know, you try and hold them, they headbutt you in the nose or something, and your nose is bleeding or something, then all bets are off. I don't care. That's all.
Be able to defend
that's not
yourself
what I'm saying.
harm.
But I'm talking about like a girl is fighting me like she's fighting a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe grab her hair, or not now, but when I was younger. But you know, or like the slaps. I'm like, dude, just and then you talk, calm them down, and that's it. It's not. There's no need for like hitting back. But yeah, if there's any like
right there, Felicity, right there.
Maybe Majors needs to reconsider what type of people he lets in his life when he is trying to build a career. He probably also needs to reconsider how he conducts himself as well. Lawyers do what they need to do within the bounds of the law to represent their client. I've been physically abused by a woman. I did all I could to get her off of and away from me. My roommates had to intervene and get her out of the room and house.
Most domestic violence situations, intimate partner violence, most of it is initiated by the female partner. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this thing happened because she saw something in Jonathan's phone that she didn't like, and it got physical on her end initially. Right? We all recognize that once it gets physical on his end, everything's going to stop. Right? The taxi driver's probably going to stop the car.
But that did happen. She did get dropped off somewhere else. That was,
but there is a reason. There's a much longer runway as to when someone needs to intervene. We see those videos all the time. Women smacking the hell out of the dude. Everybody's sitting around. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah, and they don't take it seriously. They don't try.
Everybody's like, oh, it's a woman. It's a girl.
And you should try and stop. You should try and stop that. And you should try and intervene and separate the people. It's real. I agree completely. But there is a reason why male violence towards women is taken more seriously, because more often than not, more often in those scenarios, it could lead to very serious things.
It could lead to death, serious injury, and I understand that. I get that. I still
that's
think the
why
other side of it is
more seriously. But
underrepresented.
at the same time, yes, there should be more. There should be more education about like how women are doing these things.
Chill. William does have a point about that, because one thing, and I just seen his recent video. Most general people in general don't know how to like fight right. Most people don't know how to do proper restraints and stuff. I'm not trying to say I'm no fight guru and stuff, but I don't know. But like, even just for, let's say you restrain her, right? And you don't restrain her in a certain way. Let's say you restrain her and your hand is like slightly on her breast. She can say, oh, now he's harassing me. Or, you know, it is so much, even with restraining. That's why, like, as a dude, if you can get away, just get away. Yeah, you might look like a chump, but run away. For the most part,
restrain and walk away. That's what I'm saying. Restrain and then walk away once you've restrained them. That's also a good
but
option.
If you are in a situation where you have to like absolutely like fight for your life, then fight. You know, at that point, and just like Nerman said, let's say you are restraining somebody and the girl headbutts you in the back head and you're like bleeding. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta, you know, a body slammer, but if you need I understand why you did it at that point. It's like, shoot, she gave you a bloody nose.
Closed fist?
Huh?
Closed fist, though?
I don't think.
Like, dude, I'm in the belief, for me, that I think most women, like, especially my size, even a little bigger, I can easily, you know, I don't have to like do so much extra.
Right, exactly.
Take them down. Now, if it's Ronda Rousey, I'm gonna be honest with you, she might kick my ass.
she's gonna kick her.
You know, there's
yeah.
something about me where I can never admit that a woman. I can't be a WNBA player can't take me. I can't do
don't
it.
Say
you don't
shit,
think
man.
there's any
Don't
women that can
shit.
take you?
Don't say
in
that.
You don't
fighting,
think Clarissa Shields could beat you up? You know
Gina
who that is?
Carano, nah.
women's
Muhammad Ali daughter,
heavyweight champion.
Dude,
nah, I'm not giving that up.
Worked by fucking, what was it? Ronda Rousey would work you.
Rousey,
Holmes, you like a
Cyborg,
like an
all of those
elliptical.
women.
I mean, hey, Ronda did take her L wrestling, so I don't know. Hey, I can wrestle.
She got beat by another world champion. Ronda Rousey will kick everybody ass in here.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt in my mind. She'd work you, man.
I'm waiting for Nerdman to attempt to explain how the MC was responsible for causing the Majors incident.
Okay, so I've been writing down some notes on this. And
get out of here. Felicity said, "Look, man, need to walk away. Crazy coach and women need to walk away from whack packages."
But that's Felicity. That's tough.
Crazy cooch.
Now I am in a relationship, so I don't need
walking away from crazy cooch is tough. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Doc? Save your life and go away, Doc.
No. Look.
Get away and call the cop.
Look, I got an explanation for this wild thing I'm about to say. The best cooch is sometimes the crazy one, right? It's hard to like walk away from it.
Are you crazy?
Now I can walk away from it, but I can understand why many wouldn't. I can understand why Johnny for a while didn't walk away from Amber. I can understand it. I wouldn't stay in it.
The poop on the bed would have done it for me.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? You drop a load on my bed,
or me losing my finger. My finger,
yeah, that's too much for me as well.
For me to leave.
Yeah, man, you done chopped off my pinky, shit on my bed, had sex with James Franco while I was making a movie. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But that
was wild. That was wild that she just boldly like stuck James up into their home. I remember.
Damn, like up in the elevator, like you don't have a stairwell.
Right.
You don't have anything you could have brought
wearing a mask, nothing. And mind you, she's a public figure too. I get it if he was like.
Did she kiss him in the elevator? She did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she kissed him in the elevator. She kissed him in the elevator.
But Johnny was cheating on her as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, they was. They was.
But I don't think that she was able to pull up video evidence of Johnny Depp having an affair on her.
Yeah.
Like the most she got is hearsay and rumor. We got you in 4K, sweetie.
Yeah.
Right. And
I don't know.
Second Street Marvel for the most part, and this is.
I think that's a little too crazy, though. Amber Heard is a little too crazy. I understand what you mean by crazy girls can be like. It can be awesome for a few weeks, you know. Maybe
everyone needs to get into the habit of what Second Street. It's mind you, everybody go through different life experiences that, especially you have that mentality of, you know, I would call it, you know, this slave like mentality to stay in the situation you in.
Stockholm syndrome.
No, I was with a crazy woman who
you gotta say no.
She was married, and she was trying to get me into like some altercation with her fucking husband. Like she was constantly trying to phone me to save her from her husband, and I don't know if it was like real. Like I don't think she was saying he was abusing her, but like he was just an asshole to her or something like that.
Yeah, she wanted you to save her.
I guess that's what she was getting at, but she called me to pick me up from, and I'm looking at her husband in like the window, and I'm just there like,
what?
Picking up your wife, you know? Like I'm like, this is a bit hairy, and she was crazy, but she was fun.
But see, I think she wanted. Look, there's some people that get so much in the fans. I think she really wanted Nerdman to be like a Prince Charming. It just come in clutch and just like.
I was the worst
Leave her alone.
Prince Charming ever, bro. I was the worst Prince Charming. I was like right at the side of the road, calling. Yeah, you could just come down, like watch it to make sure the husband doesn't come with him. Yeah.
I know some women I wouldn't want to fight.
Prince Charming.
Could they beat me? Maybe not, but I'm not looking to find out either.
Yeah, that's for most part. I'm not like, if I do ever get in an altercation with a woman, look, I just hope if I ever get into an altercation with a woman, I hope it's a situation where like it's straight up, I don't know, she got a weapon and I'm completely justified with defending myself. I just hope I don't want to be in that situation, but if I ever get into one, and I hope it's not a knife or a gun, it'd be like a bat or something. I think I can defend myself against the bat. I hope it's that. I don't want it to be a situation where it's some randomly happens in public, and then it's actually, you know what, in high school, I actually had this happen to me, and I didn't know what to do, but I was so mad. I walked into my history class one day, and there was this girl I was talking to. One day she was like, me and her wasn't like talking, and I was wondering why she wasn't talking to me. And I sit right next to her. I said, like, you know, I don't know what I did. I know I didn't say nothing to offend her. She just randomly, like, straight up slapped me in the face in front of everybody. Peace, Marcus. She just randomly slapped me in the face in front of everybody. And mind you, nobody, like, I didn't know what to do. There was a response to me that I was like, oh, I want to slap her in the face so bad. But then the teachers there, this is what I say, teachers don't do shit. The teacher was sitting right there and didn't do nothing. He didn't say nothing. Everybody else looking. I'm getting laughed at, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And even though I was totally justified to do it, I didn't do it. I wanted to slap her in the face so bad. I'll be honest with you, I did. She just randomly slapped me out of nowhere in front of everybody. It was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. And I don't know why she did it, but she just did it. Everybody laughing. Teacher don't do nothing. And I'm like, oh.
She did that for your future love of the MCU. She knew it. She like saw like ahead of time that you.
I think that was his MCU.
I'm gonna slap some sense into you before it happens.
We're gonna close out on that story. Thanks for joining. That was the Star Wars chatter, and then the second half became Jonathan Majors and women and what not to do. Guys, exercise restraint. Don't say a verse you don't want to be saved. And peace out. Go subscribe to Back of the Bus. Subscribe to Hot Takes Tuesdays and SSJK.Sanctum. Toodles.